Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club and another edition of my essential film reviews collection. Thank you so much for returning. And we're now going to return ourselves to 2022 for Don't Worry Darling. According to the Holy Bible of the Matrix over at Wikipedia, the creation of and fallout from creating Don't Worry Darling was anything but representative of the carefree nature of the title of the film. Perhaps that's fitting for a film with a lot of enjoyably moving parts clashing together in a film that reminded me of so many divergent films and TV shows of recent times. 1998's The Truman Show is an obvious connection, less so perhaps is the Michel Gondry directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind from 2004. More recently, I'd argue this film had a feel of the ever-increasing dread of a Jordan Peele film, as well as the small screen shenanigans of Charlie Brooker and the twisted mind who continually shines a dystopian light on the future we refuse to believe in Black Mirror. Quite the roll call of, albeit though I'm heavily biased, outstanding and thought-provoking films and TV series from the past quarter of a century, and arguably the highest of praise for the film's director Olivia Wilde. Off-screen, and both before, during and after shooting the final scenes, the film was beset with health and pandemic concerns, breaks in the shooting schedule, the sacking of actor Shia LaBeouf, clashes between director Olivia Wilde and marquee star name Florence Pugh, and, lest we forget, the unseemly spitting incident between the film's other two marquee star names Harry Styles and Chris Pine at the recent Venice Film Festival. But perhaps the most intriguing piece of gossip from within The Matrix is the director's admission that the Chris Pine character was inspired by the Canadian author and clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson, whereas I saw Pine's characterization as more of a cult leader, akin to Philip Seymour Hoffman in the Paul Thomas Anderson directed masterpiece The Master in 2012. Pine may be in only 4 or 5 scenes, but each is pivotal. Each is grandiose, and each one an opportunity for the master to preach to his choir. What's even more intriguing perhaps is that although Chris Pine isn't predominantly on screen, his constant presence is everywhere. Chris Pine is frank and the master over everyone and everything he surveys in the desert town of Victory in an unspecified time, but which I place in a supremely affluent suburbia of the 1950s. However, this idyllic hideaway from the outside world cannot possibly be real, and much like the regular robotic routines of The Truman Show, or arguably the Bill Murray acting masterclass in Groundhog Day from 1993, the cracks begin to show, or should that be the loud rumblings and grumblings from the unexplained and secretive work facility nearby. All that can be admitted to is the development of progressive materials, and that Frank and his team are on a mission and changing the world. But whose world is this? Chris Pine is excellent as the guru come cult leader, and this is by far his best released film of 2022, following the disappointing The Contractor and the much better but flawed All the Old Knives. In amongst an ensemble cast of 3 notable standouts in the shape of Harry Styles, director Olivia Wilde, and particularly Florence Pugh. Styles is very much a representation of the males in a film whereby gender and societal role plays a huge part in the narrative. Wilde and Pugh are ostensibly best friends and neighbours in a Truman Show landscape of perfectly manicured gardens, bright and well cared for ostentatious homes, colourful clothing, cars and the smiles of a world in a land of make-believe. I guessed the film's reveal, or certainly the majority of it, very early on, but quixotically it didn't in any way spoil my enjoyment of a film I'd heartily recommend to you. In amongst the bright and vibrant colours of the cars leaving for work and the wide-eyed smiles of the housewives left behind is a psychologically dark tale that takes huge inspiration from some, if not all, of the films I've previously name-checked, and maybe many more outside of my film watching experience. All is definitely not what it seems in this desert town of Victory, and this is brilliantly reinforced by the whirling and swirling camera angles often employed, and presumably so to reinforce the whirlwind and unsettling otherworldly nature of this strange town in a strange time. Mirrors, window panes, reflections, and crucially multiples thereof are constantly shown, and again in an effort to disorientate us as the audience, as well as the film's central character Alice and the outstanding performance from Florence Pugh. I'll end by briefly positing the notion that there are also echoes here of George Orwell's 1984, and if you replace war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength with there is beauty in control, there is grace in symmetry, we move as one, you may well see the vague connection. Regardless, Don't Worry Darling takes inspiration from many and varied sources and is a psychologically disturbing and interesting film. And that was Don't Worry Darling from 2022. And I'll leave you in peace and in solidarity. And as ever, I truly thank you for watching. Peace everyone.